Builder's remedy has been on the books all the time. And what we have is a housing element each city has to produce to show the state how the city plans to grow. This planning for the housing element is every 8 years. It was always a planning tool. And in order to ensure cities does do their planning, they've put in there the builder's remedy to say that if you don't do your planning, then potentially you can lose your right to zoning and to grant applications, and potentially the state can take over and decide on that. So, for example, Palo Alto, in the 5th cycle of the housing element, we were allocated 1,988 units that we had to build in that 8-year period. And then in last year, our new housing element for the 6th cycle came forward. We were allocated 6,068 units that we have to build in the next 8 years. That is 4 times or 3 times the amount increase. And there's no way that we're going to be able to do that. So we're already set up to fail. And now with the builder's remedy in place, what they're going to do is, so you're failing to get your numbers together. Now the door opens to developers to come in using the builder's remedy to say, because you didn't fulfill your numbers, now the state takes over and the state can grant those builder remedies. So we have a few of those coming in our community, but there is one in our neighboring city, Menlo Park, where there is a parcel out in the Willows, and it's called the Sunset Magazine parcel. It's beautiful site. But anyway, somebody purchased it. We found out later that it is a Russian developer with ties to Putin. He has proposed that it be built with 4 towers. I want to say it's about 17 stories high, where in the neighborhood, it's all single stories or 2-story houses, single families. There's going to be a hotel. There's going to be luxury apartments. There's going to be mixed use and office space. They will put in the number of affordable units that they need to. But when you look at it, they're actually building for luxury. They're not even going to have enough housing for low income housing for those people who are working in those retail shops or doing janitorial work, facilities manager. They're not even going to have enough housing for them. But also what they're not looking at is that road, Willow Road and Middlefield Road, does not have the capacity for ingress and egress. So it's going to cause a huge congestion over there. And there's no way to widen the road. We're going to cause a bottleneck. And then you kind of wonder, how is emergency vehicles going to come in and out of that location? But we're getting more ridiculous proposal coming in under the guise of builder's remedy. But also, I want to just say, cities were never meant to build housing units. We're supposed to plan and plan realistically. So what the state has done is made us plan unrealistically, forced us to plan unrealistically without funding, have to produce the housing, which we simply can't. It's not up to us. It's up to the developers. But then the thing is, we also have to do reality check. You can't just build anything and everything all over the place. So this is all a guise in terms of building housing and making it affordable with just building more so that it can trickle down. It doesn't happen that way, which is why my opinion is that it's all a scam. Cost is going to go up. Our cost of living is going to go substantially higher because a lot of the infrastructure costs are forwarded to a lot of the people who live here. For example, as we have to expand our capability of providing electricity, the electric grid has to be expanded and modernized, and all of the cost of doing those capital improvements is going to be passed on to people in California. Water is a resource that is so delicate, depends if we have rain or not. And even then, we're not capturing fresh water well. As that infrastructure is being built, then again, it's passed off to people. And I will tell you, during the drought years, we were encouraged to conserve water. So a lot of people conserved and reduced their use of water. But guess what? Their water bills went up. People ask why. That's because the agencies are saying that because we're conserving so much, we're not using enough water. So they need to charge more in order to be able to service everybody. You should have put money aside in your reserves in order to upgrade and to update. But all of a sudden you're passing on all of your capital improvements, and maintenance onto the ratepayers. We're going to see a lot of higher increases to our cost of living, in California as we continue to grow in this ridiculous manner. What the legislators always forget is that we have a global market. Real estate is global here in California. So it means there's a lot of foreign investors that are coming into California to invest, and they're just buying it up. And as long as they're here to buy, the cost of housing is always going to be up. Unless they regulate that, we're always going to have the global market. Look at Vancouver, right? There was a time that there was a lot of immigration into Vancouver, which helped with their prices. Their cost of living went up. Their housing prices went up. And so are we building for our own people here in California, or are we building for the global market? I think that's a question that we should be posing to the legislators.
If you haven't checked out CaliforniaInsider.com, we highly recommend you do that now, because we're going to have a lot of news and videos there. And on top of what we have there right now, we are building a really big platform to cover what's happening in California, so you can be informed. We're going to have more shows, more videos from all aspects of life in California. Go to CaliforniaInsider.com and we'll see you there.